I thought I'd do a short video on my little bedside clock here because it really has been perfect. I've had it 4 years and it's been the best little bedside clock I've ever had. I've had mechanical ones in the past which have been too noisy. I've had digital ones which have faded and the displays have just died. And I've had radio alarm clocks which eventually I've worn out by pressing the buttons or rubbing the paint off the lettering. So I thought, as I don't keep my mobile phone in the bedroom because I like to keep that in a separate room so it doesn't disturb me, I will need to get a bedside alarm clock. So I looked around and I'd known somebody who'd got one very similar to this and thought it was a very good idea, so managed to find this one on, I think I bought it from Amazon. It was quite expensive. It was not £40, but it was above 30 at least, which I thought was quite expensive for essentially an alarm clock. But I've had it 4 years now and it's brilliant. I'll go through the features so that I can tell you why I think it's so good. If you're somebody who needs multiple alarms, then this is really not for you because you can only set the one alarm. I mean, I work with animals, so the one alarm to get me up in the morning is absolutely fine, and if I want to lie down during the day and set another time, it's dead easy. You only have the one knob on the back which sets the alarm time. There is no time setting knob because the thing is radio controlled and it's worked flawlessly. It synchronizes the summer and the winter settings, winter and summer time zones absolutely perfectly. I've never had a problem with it not getting the time signal, which is great. So the one knob sets the alarm hand. The knob on the top here is a snooze for so many minutes and also illuminates the clock dial. And then you have a sliding switch at the side here which turns the alarm on or off. And you can see it's just a red disc appears in the aperture when you have the alarm switched on. There's a solar panel at the front here and it charges a AA rechargeable battery. Now I've had this alarm clock 4 years and I've never had to replace the rechargeable battery in this. They do recommend after so many years that you check the battery and replace it with a new rechargeable battery. But pretty much they give it a few years lifespan and say this has been 4 years and it's always had enough power to carry on working or for the alarm to work and for the display to light up. It uses, I think it's one of these very thin low voltage LED strips to glow the dial up, and when the alarm goes off it actually illuminates the clock so you can see where it is to switch the alarm off. If you've been watching the video you may notice that the minute hand advances every so many seconds. It's every 15 seconds the minute hand clicks, so it doesn't keep you awake. There's no ticking noise. It's virtually silent. And I think because it only advances every 15 seconds, the clock mechanism itself won't wear out quite so quickly because it's very slow moving as opposed to a quartz clock which ticks every second. So the actual moving parts of this clock are very slow. So I think that will help keep it going for much longer. I've got a phone here on my bedside table. I have a landline. As I say, as I work with animals, it's people need to sometimes get in touch with me late at night. So rather than having the mobile phone, I have a landline. This lights up, and the keypad lights up, so I can actually make calls in the dark, and I can see when the phone rings where it is because it lights up. I have a radio to catch up with the news and everything when I wake up. A lamp, obviously, and I take my watch off at night time. But for my purpose, this alarm clock is absolutely perfect. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. I just come in at night time and set the alarm, and it just works. I suppose because pretty much everything on this table can be replaced with a smartphone. I mean, some of them even have torches in, so that you don't necessarily need to have a bedside light. But I mean, pretty much everything on this table could be replaced by a smartphone. For me, having the single alarm, I just needed the thing to work. I needed to go to bed, not worry about where I've left my phone, and everything just work. So for me, this is the ideal setup. If you can find one of these alarm clocks, I completely recommend them. The only thing I will have to do at some point is change the rechargeable battery for a different one, or a better quality one. It was expensive, but it's very well made. The plastic is very thick. Nothing feels cheap and nasty. The knobs don't feel loose. They're very secure, and they feel very nice to use. It's a very chunky thing, and it's got actually quite a bit of weight to it. So whoever designed this, you know, they did a 10 out of 10 job. It was expensive, but then, you know, I've had 4 years out of that now, so, and I think hopefully it'll go on a lot longer. So it really has been, for me, the perfect bedside alarm clock. Not very exciting, but it's just nice when somebody builds a machine or a gadget that does its job. But not only that, it's better than it needs to be. And I think when something's better than it needs to be, it's a very pleasing thing to have.